people future fake with us as their own selfish escape. They don't care that we are taking them seriously, because why wouldn't we take them seriously? We can't even fathom why someone would say stuff like, "I can't wait to start my life with you," if they never even meant it. Have you ever met someone and they come on strong? Flirting, pursuing, maybe you go out together, they're talking about a future, and then suddenly they discard you, ghost you, and maybe even block you like you never existed. Anyone who has experienced this cruel treatment is never the same when it comes to love. How do I know? Well, I've been discarded too. Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for almost 20 years I struggled with avoidant relationships, emotionally unavailable people that would come into my life and get me pumped up and excited for our future, and it just kind of never ended well for me. I understand the pain of being shut out by someone that we thought we could trust and that we used to bare our soul to. And that's why when I asked viewers to share their discard experience, a comment from a man named Andrew brought me to tears. Andrew was convinced his girlfriend wanted to be with him forever because she told him that she wanted to be with him forever. Andrew had a girlfriend who loved him and abandoned him. And if you're ready to learn what was Andrew's breaking point, what were the red flags of a future faker that he may have missed, and why we shouldn't trust our entire future to someone who, as it turns out, we can't even trust they will text us back, then grab a bottle of nail polish and let's talk. A lot of us get blindsided by breakups because the other person in the relationship is never expressing there might be some kind of problem that they are struggling with. And here is Andrew's comment that inspired today's video. Andrew says, "I met a girl online. She came on super strong. She would say things like, 'I can't imagine a future without you,' and 'no matter what happens, I want to be with you.' It was long distance, and by my second trip to see her, she stood me up. She ended things through a text, refused any sort of conversation. She deleted all of her socials, refused any sort of closure. She did reach out to me a few months later over social media through a throwaway account. She was saying things like, 'Andrew, I'm just going through things I cannot disclose at this time.' She also told me that she wished she would have handled things differently. When I messaged back and begged for a phone call or answers, she refused. She always had some excuse or reason why I couldn't come out to see her. The first time we met, we did get intimate, but no, I never sent her any money. I just think she was a hardcore avoidant. This really broke me. I thought she was it. I was going to move across the country to be with her, and this has left me severely depressed. I feel like a shell of my former self. I started therapy. I went really in depth with my therapist. I explained everything. I even showed her the gifts that she gave me. My therapist said she was even confused about the whole situation. Andrew, I am so sorry. Every time I have read this comment to go through writing this episode, I can feel your pain coming through the words, and it is painful because it feels like we're going to do all of these things with someone we love, and now it's just an opportunity lost. And I used to think like that too. When I was dumped, I would beat myself up thinking, man, we could have done all those fun things we talked about if only I hadn't done this or I hadn't done that. This is all my fault. And what I've come to realize is I never actually missed out on an opportunity. If the person proposing the plans to you is not serious about ever following through, then there was never an opportunity to miss out on. It was simply a fantasy that they enjoyed talking about. I'm sure, I'm going to call her Danielle. I'm sure Danielle liked something about the fantasy of a never-ending, loyal, ride-or-die relationship. But there are some people in this world who prematurely give up on their dreams and fantasies because through their own probably negative past experiences, they no longer believe that the fantasy can come true, and they abandon it. And because you were a part of that fantasy, they abandon you too. Danielle has said things to you that felt good, like, Andrew, no matter what happens, I want to be with you. And I'm sure that somewhere along the way, something or someone very significant in Danielle's life really let her down. So she enjoyed escaping into a future world where no matter what happens, you will always be there for each other. But she felt safer with your dynamic when it was all online. And to your point, I don't think she was angling for money. I think she was looking for a fantasy. A lot of people who avoid intimacy have a really sad backstory, but that doesn't mean it's okay for them to turn you into collateral damage. You know, sometimes we all future fake. It feels good. When I was growing up working crappy jobs, I would get lost in fantasies of career success. When you're at the gym, what are you fantasizing about? The ultimate revenge body, of course. It's fun to fantasize about the way we hope our life will be in the future, especially when we're not very happy with the way things are right now. However, it is abnormally cruel to focus on a specific person, draw them into our fantasy, only to push them out of it. Andrew, I know when you made this comment, you weren't necessarily asking for my opinion, but it really moved me. I'd kind of like to give it to you anyway. I don't think in 2025 it's unheard of to meet people online, but I definitely feel like it's so important to meet in person sooner than later. Physical experiences and closeness really is the fastest, most natural way to get to know someone. Because let's face it, online, people can say anything about themselves. I'm glad to have met you, Andrew, but we've only ever met online. We could have a beautiful online connection over the next year, and then one day you come to my house and find out that the partner I'm always talking about is actually a snowman I built and I keep in my freezer. He's not. But how would you actually know that, right? That's kind of the point I'm making here. Until you hang out with someone in person, you would never know anything about them, for sure. And I'm not trying to make you paranoid. I'm just trying to say that even though I don't think that even the majority of people online are out to deceive you, I do think that there are some people who are only out for themselves. Meet prospects sooner than later. It's the only real way to get to know them. Because when we get involved in a half of an intimate relationship, like a half-love relationship, where there is a lot of distance, either emotionally or geographically, we can fill in the blanks with whatever we want. And we're kind of at the mercy of only knowing what they tell us. They can tell us exactly what they think we want to hear, and they can create this beautiful image of themselves that they want us to see in our imagination. And Andrew, the fact is, even after we meet someone in person the first time, kind of just like you found out, even if we hook up with them, it's not enough to know them. And Danielle, in person, acts way different than how she portrayed herself to you in those black and white words over a computer screen. I think the reason this is particularly crushing for you is the distance allowed you to imagine her a certain way, and the closeness killed that image forever. You're depressed. Yeah, because it's like mourning the death of someone, because the Danielle she was pretending to be, the Danielle who vowed to be with you forever, no matter what, that version of Danielle doesn't exist. But you just didn't know that yet. And even though sleeping together can feel like we do have all of the other person, you didn't know all of her just yet. You know her better now, and I hope you know she is not someone who would be a desirable life partner for anyone. Maybe she can be someday. I mean, for what it's worth, she did come to you and say that she should have handled things differently. I do think there's a part of her that feels bad about how she treated you at the end, but it's important not to hang your hat on that because she still ran from you. She still won't have a conversation with you. I believe she had the space enough to feel bad about the way that she ended things, but she still won't meet or talk to you, so she's not it. She's not the one for you. I know you feel confused, and that makes sense because Danielle's actions don't make sense when you compare them to her words, and she even slept with you. That's a woman giving herself to you, but now she's not offering any answers. And the thing is, the problem with people like Danielle, or anyone who dumps us, I think it's very rare that people disclose with 100% accuracy why they're dumping us, because maybe they don't actually know because they do have some mental health issues, or they aren't going to tell you because they simply aren't interested and they don't want to hurt your feelings. This happens all the time. In life, we will never get all of the answers. We have to become comfortable with reflecting and gain the confidence to give ourselves an answer and accept it. I think the other reason this comment shook me up so much is because I've always had a really vivid imagination, and growing up, I became very good at romanticizing things. So when I first read this, and you said that she was writing to you, and online she was telling you she couldn't imagine her life without you, the immediate picture I got in my mind is like she's wearing this beautiful white dress, and she's standing on a balcony with the wind blowing through her hair, and she's putting this message that she wrote, probably with a feather pen, into a bird's talon, and she's sending the bird off to you, and it is just so romantic. But the reality is she's sitting alone in a room typing things into a computer screen, things that make her feel really good in that moment because maybe she wanted an escape from something in her life. So why did you have to be the one who got sucked into her lovely lies? Well, I think as humans, we all become more vulnerable if we're at a place where we're not really too happy with things going on in our life, or we're feeling really down about ourselves. And even if we're skeptical, something in us wants to believe what people are telling us so badly. And I'm not saying that she didn't like you, but she certainly didn't care if she hurt you. It was definitely more about how she was feeling in every moment. She was trying to emotionally distance herself from something that she doesn't like in the reality of her world. And I do believe that on a certain level, we meet people exactly where we are. You were ready to drop everything in your life and move and go be with someone that you'd only had one in-person date with. So the act of leaving your life behind and moving across the country, what are you trying to distance yourself from? Does it have anything to do with getting distance from how you see yourself? And listen, I'm just asking. I don't know you, but I know personally some of the most mentally messed up, toxic people I ever got attached to quickly. There was definitely something going on in my life that was not fulfilling to me, and I liked the way they made me feel. They made me feel seen, and it was like they thought I was beautiful. I mean, almost nothing feels better than feeling like someone desires you at the time in your life where you don't really feel like a winner, and that someone comes along and they desire you, and they're like, yes, you are craveable and lovable and sexy. And if you're not necessarily happy where you're at with yourself, you bet you're gonna drop everything for that person, because compared to your reality, a future with them is looking real good. But welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also need to take care of the inner half, because we don't want people who are out for themselves to feel like they are our lifeline. And Andrew, what is your definition of winning in life? And do you have any of those things right now. Maybe you describe it as like having a woman who loves you. Maybe you move, you start a new life, you get a different career because the one you have now sucks. Maybe you've always wanted kids and now you have children together. I mean, whatever this idea of winning is, this woman made you feel like she was going to give it to you. And the thing is, these things that you want, once you write them down and think about them, I'll bet they are not completely impossible to get, but they are tough. When you have things in life like satisfying careers or healthy relationships or kids, or maybe you've built a home that you enjoy being in, even puttering around it all alone because now you have so much self-worth and respect, you never really feel like you have to be with someone else in order to be winning in life. But you know, this stuff, the self-respect, the self-love, the fulfilling friendships, the beautiful relationships, the woman, the job, the house, this stuff does not happen overnight or online or even after one date. It doesn't even happen when you sleep together the first time. All of this stuff, anything in life worth having, takes a lot of time and a lot of failure and a lot of learning from failure. And there's no shortcuts, and we can't jump the gun just because we want it to work out so badly and we're ready to get started with our brand new life. We can't just skip off into a winter wonderland. And you know, I don't know you either. I only know what I read in your comment online. And I don't mean to keep trying to insinuate that I think that you have such a miserable life. But on this channel, it's based on my opinion of my experiences, and I just know that any time in my life I got sucked in by a future faker, you know, I needed those things to be true because I was in a place where I wasn't necessarily very happy. And I say this also especially because one date with a woman, it shouldn't have the power to break you, but discards are tough. They do make us question everything about ourselves and what was even our reality. They aren't normal. What she did to you isn't your fault. But you know what else isn't normal? People who shut down all of their social media accounts and then come back with like some weird burner account. I don't know. I just have a feeling that normal, mentally secure people don't act like this. There's no one I could think of in my life that I respect or I think, you know, they've got all their stuff together. I could never imagine them doing something like that. I actually think it would be more normal in this circumstance if you were the one who created some anonymous burner account because she ditched you out of nowhere and wasn't giving you any answers. We want to know what the heck happened because we are confused. And I know you feel confused, and it makes sense. Danielle's actions don't make sense when you compare them to her words, and she's not offering any answers. Forget trying to figure out Danielle just for the time being and focus on why after one date that didn't happen to end up working out, you feel broken. Caveat, I would bring her up again if she reaches out and contacts you in the future. At that time, you might still be raw and need support navigating that situation. And you can always call me. In fact, if any of you out there could use a sympathetic ear or support in a no-contact journey, I will link my phone session information in the description below. Sometimes we are coming from a negative place, especially after being ditched, so it can be refreshing to get a different perspective. And if you don't give a hoot about my perspective, but you would still like to share your breakup story and the lessons you learned with other viewers on the channel, I will also link my Gmail in the description below. I did get a couple of other comments that we'll be going over on next week's video. And Durwood Hamburger, if you're watching this, I screenshotted a comment from you on a video I did a couple of weeks ago. And I'd also like to address that because we're going to be going over situations where maybe people who avoid love to flirt and tease, and then they breadcrumb and they ghost, and it makes you feel like crap. And if you are someone who knows anyone who struggles with attraction to half love, limerent-fueled avoidant situationships, please share this video and subscribe to support the growth of the channel so more beautiful people like you can know they are not as invisible as they feel. At the end of the day, relationships with so much distance especially emotional distance. They can really do a number on hopeful people with big hearts, people who want to find the one. And that's just it, right? This was only one. Finding the one typically takes finding a lot of other people first. And this was only one woman, one experience, and one out of so many romantic lessons life is going to teach you. And this was a big one. The number one can be powerful because this is only one season of your romantic career. Your story isn't over, and what a shame it would be to allow one bad experience to sour your opinion of women or dating forever. This is not a failure. It's a lesson. And if you are open, there is one powerful lesson that you can take away from this. Meet prospects quickly, but take things slow. Don't accidentally get sucked in by beautiful, cold women who keep snowman boyfriends in their freezer. Meet them in person several times so you can witness how they act in different scenarios and in a range of moods before you commit to making major life changes for them. Winter is coming. It's a great time to work with your therapist to find the answers to the questions that actually matter. And I know the cold season can be long, but if you stay in no contact, hibernate, and do the work to heal, you'll be feeling better in snow time. It was so nice to meet you, Andrew. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting the other half.